Let's be honest. Google Drive can get like that junk drawer in your kitchen, full of important stuff, but stuff you can never find when you need it. In the workshop you're about to see, I'm going to show you how to turn that chaos into a system that can actually work for you. We'll cover everything from what a file really is to organizing your files like a pro with my pillar bucket pipeline method. You'll learn the tricks for moving files with confidence. You know where you put your file now. To naming files in a way that makes sense and keeping your drive so tidy that where did I put that file will become a thing of the past. All of it. I like Google products. I like Google products because they're more pared down than Apple and Microsoft products, but it's a lot of the same functions, just not so many bells and whistles to try to figure out. So we'll talk about today Google Drive real quick. Exactly what is it? Just a small deep dive into what it is and about files. Some strategies for organizing files for you to get your head around maybe the chaos that you might be having, and just actually making sure that you know how to do these things, how to create folders and how to move things around in Google Drive. Digital organization is important. You're here, you know this. Knowing where to find your files is important. And think I mean, when you really, well, I thought about it this way. If you spend, let's say, 12 minutes looking for a file, you can't find that invoice or that intake form. 12 minutes. If you do that every day, you've spent an hour a week looking for files, 4 hours a month, 52 hours a year. That's vacation time. That is a week's vacation time looking for files. So having some organization is absolutely going to save you time. Also, when you're trying to build out, as we are trying to build our business, having an organization helps us build out a business because with things organized, we're able to hire on people. We're able to onboard people because we can tell them where things are, and we're able to automate better. Use automation systems and have workflows where we can automate invoices or we can automate sales responses, etc. I'm going to share my screen. Just talk some nitty gritty about files just for a second, because I find it comes up. And understanding files, I think, helps understanding organizing it. What is a file? When you start typing, let's say in Docs or Word or Applewrite, you're entering information into the computer. When you click save, and this is significant, all that data is stored now on your computer in a container that's called a file. And that file has a name. When we're doing it well, we're giving it good file names, but we'll come back to that. When you're on your phone and you press record and your phone is taking in images, a ton of images. When you press stop, that phone, that device, which is a computer, a device, records or saves that information on your phone, on that drive. And it saves it in a container called a file and gives it a name. With phones, it probably gives it a long, confusing name like that. But nevertheless, it is a unique name for that group of information. All that information is being saved somewhere, it's being stored somewhere. When you store it on your computer, it's local, it's in your space, it's actually in your physical space. So think of it as a file cabinet in your house. When you're in your house, nobody else can access that information, I mean, unless you let them in. You might have a file cabinet in the corner of your office or another room. You don't have them all over the house, and it's storing your personal information that you've collected. Cloud storage, which Google Drive is cloud storage. Think of that more like a storage facility, a self-storage facility. These places are huge. They can store tons and tons of crap. People can bring their furniture, their cars, boats, all kinds of stuff. But you rent just one unit, one small space, just for your things in your storage unit, and you have a key to your space. Nobody else can get into it. Your cloud storage, your Google Drive, is like having that file cabinet in your storage facility. So it's in a big space. Cloud storage is tons and tons of servers, computers that store information. that's accessible through the internet, through anywhere. And because that storage unit is bigger probably than your office, or at least in my case, it's much bigger than my office, I can fit a ton more file cabinets in there, which is why I would want to use it. I can store more things in the cloud. I can store more data in the cloud. I can store more things in a storage unit. And of course, like I said, cloud, your cloud drive, your Google Drive is available anywhere you can get on the internet. If you only use one computer, that might not be a big deal. But if you use more than one computer or you go to different locations, it makes it helpful. So let's go look at Google Drive. Google Drive is a service that Google provides. It is attached to your Google account. You probably started a Google account when you created a Gmail account. That's where a lot of people start because that's the first service a lot of people use. Your Google account, though, gives you access to a whole lot of things, not just Gmail, as you see, but also contacts, calendar, a lot of other features, a lot of other applications, including Google Drive. So Google Drive, think of it as it is part of your Google account, but you can think of it as attached to your Gmail. That's to say, to get to Google Drive, there's more than one way, but I'm just going to work with one way, try to work with one way to keep things clear. Go to your Gmail, log into your Gmail. To go to your Gmail, you open a browser that you want to use, whether you're using Firefox, Chrome, if you're on Apple, Safari, and type in gmail.com. I have a Gmail account. I'm going to log into my Gmail here. From Gmail. To get to Google Drive, you can click the Google Apps button on the upper right corner. And again, like I said, you can see the different services, the different applications that you have available from Google, within Google, but we're looking for Drive, the triangle. And here we are. Just a quick look around. Is anybody using Google Workspace? Okay. Workspace, just in case you hear of it, Workspace is, let's say, Google Drive Plus. It's more for businesses. It costs a little bit more, and it has a little bit more security features. But we're in, so I just wanted to check and see, because it looks different in Google Workspace also, and I just wanted to address that if we do. Over here on the left, these are some areas that you can navigate, use to look around and to manage Google Drive, to manage your files. The first section is home. This is what pops up when you first start Google Drive. I find this is not particularly helpful and I don't use it. It shows you files that you might have opened recently or that you open often, but it doesn't show you everything, the whole picture. So I say skip it. If you click on My Drive, the next item over on the left, this shows you all the files and folders that you have. This is the area that you're going to work in most often. And as you see, I've got a bunch of files in here. I don't have any folders, and I'm going to scroll down. I've got a ton of files. I bet all of you have a lot more than this, but this is just for this workshop. Computers, we won't worry about that. That's a more advanced feature, but you can sync up the files on your computer with Google Drive and sync up the files on Google Drive with your computer, but we won't look at that today. Shared with me. I've had this come up where people don't even know that they have files in here. Shared with me is if somebody creates a file in Google Drive and, like it says, they share it with you. So it's not downloaded. It's not saved in your Google Drive. It stays on their Google Drive and it shows up in this area shared with me. So if somebody sends you an email and says, hey, I'm sharing this file with you, this invoice, and you don't find it, it will likely be in this area shared with me. I've got a folder here that I shared with myself from another Google account. So it's a way to work on the same file together, but again, it stays on their Google Drive. It doesn't take up space on yours, which is important because if you see here, you get to a certain point where you max out your space, you're going to have to start paying for storage or clean out your drive. This recent section, this just shows you the files that you opened most recently. This is useful if you know you're looking for something that you just had open. Starred. This is a useful section because if there's a file that you use often and you've got it buried deep, you can star it. That way, this is a quick access section. Think of it this way for your files that you need to access quickly. Spam, we won't look into. That's if you share a lot of files or a lot of people share files with you. It's not really relevant here. But trash, you do want to know also. When you delete a file on Google Drive, it gets sent here into the trash where it stays for 30 days. Or if you've maxed out your space, they will start taking out files from your trash. If you're going over right now, over on the navigation side, it says I've got 15 gig available, and I've used almost 3 gig, which is, and the little bar is telling me, yeah, I'm on the safe side. But if I started to get over 15, Google will start deleting. This is one of the areas it will start deleting files. Otherwise, if you delete something and you're not sure if you made a mistake, you can come here and bring it back. With every file, let's see, you've got a menu on the right. In this case, if I wanted to bring this file back, I've deleted this file, it's in the trash. I can click on more items. My screen doesn't want. I need to refresh my drive. I've been playing too much in it. Sometimes when I play too much in it, the menu doesn't show up. I'm gonna click more actions, and I can click restore to bring it back to, it will restore it to the folder where I had it originally. And right here, it gives me a notification saying, we put it back. How do files get into Google Drive? One of two ways. You're creating files like we talked about in Google's apps, like Word or Sheets, or you're uploading files from your computer. If you wanted to create a new file, a new Word file, for instance, you click the new button over here on the top upper left. I'm going to click Google Docs. It's opened a new tab, and now I can create a new document. Like I said, because it's Google, it is saved automatically. I think it's every 5 seconds. So we don't have to worry about saving so much. New doc. I just created a file in Word, not Word, in Docs. This file, untitled document, I just created that. It's showing me I created it today, it's showing me the time. Let me see where it is in my drive. My drive, like I said, shows you all your files so you can see them. If I click next to name, I can sort them alphabetically. Now it's sorting Z to A. I'm going to click next to name, sort A to Z. If I want to sort it by date, look over here in the column with date modified, and then click next to date modified. Now it's sorting it newest to oldest. This is a good way. Helps you find files. If you know what the name is, you might sort it alphabetically. If you know you just created it, like I just did, I'm going to sort it by date. Let's see. Oh, this is pretty ugly too. Look at all this untitled document. We will come back to this because this is just chaos. Uploading files. The other way you can bring files into Google Drive is to upload them from your computer. You click new. Let me do it again. Click the new button, file upload. And I need to find the file on my computer. So I do need to know where it is. I've got things that I'm in the downloads folder. I'm just going to pick this file. Click open. And now that file is also in Google Drive. Let's see. Yeah, any questions? Any tangents you want to go on?
Yeah, I have one.
Absolutely.
So if you have several Google IDs or accounts, is it one drive or is it a drive per account?
Drive per account.
Okay.
So personally, and I do that, because I like the separation for the different accounts. I keep certain things in different accounts, but this goes back to, this is where you might want to use shared with me. That's a way to access the files without having to log in back and forth. This folder right here that I have, this is a shared folder. It's that you see it's shared by Tracy Patter. That's another Google account that I have, a whole different Google account. So now from that account, I shared it here, and I can access those files look at those files while I am in a different Google account, a different Gmail account. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I do with my because I have like a separate business account, and then you have your personal one that you've had for years, right? And so
Yeah.
the personal one though is like defaulted sometimes on the phone, and sometimes things come in when you're working and things go there. So you have to kind of create that, yeah, that bridge between the two, just for
Yeah.
sanity's sake.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's better than duplicating files or making copies of them and having them in two places. Because
Exactly.
because that one file, see, these files that I'm in, these are on another drive, I mean on another Google account, but if I make changes to it, even when I go back to work if I work on this file from either account, I'm working on the same thing. All the changes that I made, I can see in both places. We will go back to sharing, how to share. But before we did that, I wanted to look at organizing this. That one too. This is one way to think about organizing your files. If you've got a ton of files, and sometimes it gets hard just to pick a place to start. It's like you have a party, the next day there's stuff everywhere and you don't even know where to start. You might go back to bed, but you eventually got to go in there and pick up that first glass and do something with it. And you put it somewhere, dishwasher, garbage, wherever, cabinet, wherever it needs to go. So, but you have places to put that glass, some organization. With your files and your data, this is one way I recommend thinking about it. Your pillars, your buckets, specific projects, and pipelines, activities. So your pillars are your foundations of your business. And right now we'll talk about business, but you can use this for your personal life. I do too. The hats that you wear, or the titles that you might have, or you give yourself, or the departments that you would, create, these are the pillars of your business. And you create that first level of files based on your pillars. Clients, probably for all of us, is a good pillar. You might have marketing, admin, finance. If you're doing a lot of videos. If you do a lot of catering, you might have one for just food and recipes. Do what works for you. There's no complete, right way, but this is just a framework just to kind of get you started if you're stuck. And use names that mean something to you. In fact, they could be fun. I mean, instead of clients, you could do something like, people who pay me. But this first level is about the parts of your business that are the core, that are not going to change.
You know what I also do, and I don't know if you're going to mention this, Tracy, but
Yeah.
this has helped me a lot because of all the files. Because Google Drive has, I think it defaults either to recent or alphabetical, right? And if you look at your examples of clients, marketing, whatever, I put a number in front of them because the number is always defaulted to the top. So
Okay.
I would put a number, especially if there's folders that you use all the time and you don't want to have to search through if you have like 20, 30 folders. So I would put a number, like clients would be number one, marketing would be number one client, number two marketing. And the Google Drive default will always put those folders up front because if it's in alphabetical order, numbers come first, I think.
Yep. So we'll do that when we create some folders in. I love that. That is a great idea. I like that. The next pillar is, the next level are buckets. So within the pillars, I would create buckets, and those are specific areas within the pillar. So with clients, it might be your client names, or you could do past clients. For videos, I might put some buckets, the things that I'm doing with my videos. Some of my videos are conversations. Some of my videos are solutions. Make buckets, make areas within that pillar. The buckets, it's going to be something that probably has a name, and it might be something, it's a project. It's something that could last, or it's something that might be going away. Your pillars don't go away. Your buckets, they may come and go. For finance, I might have a bucket for taxes, a bucket for bank statements. But your buckets are areas. And lastly, the last level, just 3 levels, pipelines. These are things that have a time frame that you're working through an activity. So under clients, under my one client, I might have a folder for invoices because that's an active thing, because I better be invoicing them because I want my money. I might have a folder under my client for the current project that we're working on. For videos, as you see, I might have different folders for active things that I'm doing actively, creating tutorials, I'm doing product reviews. Make it make sense to you, but this is, again, it's just kind of a framework to get your head around organizing, or at least to get started. So going back, let's put this in action. In my drive, I've got a bunch of files. The first step, actually, and the first thing you want to do, I say go through file at a time, one file at a time. Look at the file. Do I recognize it? Can I tell what's in this file? This file, I cannot tell what's in this file. It's untitled. And this happens a lot with people especially who are new to using Google Docs. I don't know what's in this file. So open it, see what's in the file, and give it a better name. In Google Drive, when you double click something, that opens it. One click, you're just going to select it to move it around or to change something. But let's double click this. I've opened the file. I'm going to say, this is what we do often. Let's say I've been in Gemini. I'm in AI, and I got a great entry from AI. I'm going to copy that and paste it into my Google Doc. And now we are going to give it a name. By default, when you click in this name area, Google will give it the name, the first line. It will put a name in there, whatever the first line is that you typed in. And before I changed it, this was the first line. But I'm going to change this to something that I can recognize 6 months later. If I happen to look at this, ideas for script. Give your files good names. Give them long names. You can put numbers in there, symbols are not a good idea, especially if you're going to share files in other file systems, because not all file systems can read question marks or slashes the right way. But names, give it as long a name as you want, something descriptive that you will recognize, again, 6 months later. And just click away. That name is saved. This file is saved. Like I said, Google saves, I think, like I said, it's every 3 or 5 seconds, it saves your document. I'm going to close this and go back to my drive. And there's that file that I just created. I'm going to create now someplace for it to go. Now I do recognize, I know what this file is. Let me put it in a folder. I'm going to create a folder, new and new folder. I'm going to call this, I'm going to name it. So with the folders, start with the pillars. I would only start with the pillars. Those next levels, buckets and pipelines, you can get to that later. Just start with pillars. I'm going to call this one video. This is my pillar because I create a lot of videos now. Created a folder. The folders are flipped to the top of the list. Now I'm going to, let's see, I just sorted it alphabetically, and I'm going to sort it again. It keeps the folders at the top, and the rest are your files. How can you tell? Because folders have a little icon that look like a folder. That file that I just created now has gone away alphabetically. So I'm going to click here over here, a date, and sort it again to find that file that I just created, that one from Gemini, the AI document. So I clicked over here on the side, date modified. It's sorting the files by date, by time. This is the file I just created. I want to move this to the video file. There's more than one way. I'm not going to show you drag and drop because that can get tricky if you're not careful. It's a fine way to move it, but this way that I'm going to show you is you are not likely to mess it up. Right click on the file name. You get a right click menu. Organize and move. Google is going to ask, where do you want to move it to? I want to move it to this folder, video. Moved it there. The other reason why I tell you to use right click, because that works in other file systems. Windows, Apple, Dropbox. When you right click on a file, you will get a menu that will give you choices. Here's a video outline. That looks like that should go in the video folder. So first I look at a file. Do I recognize the file? Yes, I know what that is. Where should it go? I have a pillar already created for video. I'm going to right click, organize, move. I'm going to share a PDF in the share. in the comments, we're going to put a link. We were supposed to do that earlier, a link to a PDF that is the outline for this and how to do and the steps that I'm doing to rename and move files.
I think it's already shared. Someone shared it.
Oh, we did? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Tech Assistant Trendy, I think.
Yes, yes. Good. Excellent. So
is that a person?
Yes, yes, it's a person. It's a person who's sitting next to me.
Okay.
I'm going to create one more folder, new folder. Call this one marketing. Oops.
How did you create the folder? Can you do that again?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to delete this one. So to delete something, you click on it one time, and the simplest way is just to hit the delete key on your keyboard. So I'm going to delete that, and you see folder move to trash. So if I wanted it back, I could. To create a folder, click new, upper left corner, new folder.
Okay.
Very first item. Immediately a box pops up for you to name it and create. And like I said, the folders stay on the top of the list. I've got some flyers. I see this is a flyer, this is a flyer, this is a flyer. I want to move all of those into the marketing folder. I'm going to do all three of them at one time because one at a time, that sucks. But we can do more than one file. Michelle knows this. Using our keyboard. I'm going to click on the first file that I want to select. Then before I click on the next file I want to select, I'm going to press the control key on the keyboard. So I clicked on the first file. I'm holding down the control key on the keyboard. I'm clicking on the next file that I want to select, the next file I want to select. So I've got three things selected. I'm going to right click over one of those things that I have selected and click organize, click move. And I want to put it in the marketing folder. So I'm going to click on that folder and click move. I'm going to open the marketing folder. Here, we're going to double check. So I double click on marketing and see it showing me those three files that I just moved over there. Now, I back here in the address bar, I wanted to get out of marketing. So I go back, I click my drive up here, or I can click my drive on the side to get back to the root level, the core of Google Drive, of my Google Drive. This marketing folder, let's say I want to share some of that with my other Google profile. To share it, you can share the whole folder, you can share files, and you can share the whole folder. I'm going to share the whole folder. With this menu on the side, let's see. Yep, oh, here it is. We have the little person with a plus, share. I'm going to add a person to this folder. I'm going to click share. Click it. There it is. And this is where it asks, who do you want to share it with? I'm going to type in my other profile. One of my other profiles, Tracy Patter at Gmail. It even popped up. I can have it notify me, but I'm me, so why do I need it to notify me? But if I did, it would send an email, this notification. I don't need it to notify me. If I were sharing this with somebody who I didn't want to make changes, I could change the permissions, but you can just leave the default permission editor and click share. Let's see. If it's, so this is my other Google profile. Drive. Shared with me. And there's a marketing folder that I just shared from the first Google profile. Jump in with questions.
You just did something that I guess I missed.
Okay.
Oh, the one about the editor, that part.
Okay, let's go back to when you share something. I'm going to share this folder. The first thing is you tell it who you want to share it with. So this part, the editor, these are different permission levels. I'm going to click that. I can share this folder. If I share it as viewer, then the person I share it with can only view files. They can't make changes.
Got it.
Commenter, they still can't make changes, but they can leave comments, kind of like sticky notes, so to speak. And editor, if I want them to have full access to make changes to the files.
Okay.
And if I'm sharing it with me, then yeah, I want to keep full access.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Some other, so the procedure, the method I would say to start with, if you've got a lot of files and no folders, is to go file by file. Do you recognize the file? If you don't, double click to open it, see what's in that file, and see if you need to keep it or delete it. This one is a good file. I want to keep it, but the name is crap because I didn't know what it was. I had to open it to look at it. So let me rename it. I don't want to look at the tour right now. I'm going to rename this one timesheet. This is something I'm working on. Timesheet for Polyweb. And I'm just doing this fast. I would actually give it better names. So I've renamed it. To rename a file, you can click, when you have the file open, just click in the name and start typing. Or when you're here, if you're in Google Drive, to rename a file, right click on the file name and select rename. I'm going to name this form for intake. Look at the file. Do you recognize it? If not, give it a better name. And then if you do recognize it, or when you've given it a better name, move it to a pillar folder. If you don't have the pillar folder created, create it. I wanted to see some other ways to make your folder stand out or to help you organize is to make your folder stand out. Because once you start creating this, you might end up with a lot of folders. So a couple of ways to make your folder stand out is one, you can right click on it, organize, and change the color. Color coding for a lot of people is real useful. That's on the PDF too. I'm going to change the color of this one. Right click on it, organize, make that red. Another way to make your folders or your files stand out is when you change the name, you can put an emoji in there. I love that about Google. So on the video, my folder for video, I'm going to right click on it to rename it, to change the name. But I am going to, in front of the V, I'm going to click in front of the V, then right click and select emoji. And if I could spell, I'm going to pick pick a video camera. So that's a way to make things stand out. So it pops and it's immediate to you what you're doing, what you want to be doing with it. And what Melissa said, which I thought was really good too. I'm going to rename marketing, this folder. So to rename. And put numbers. You put numbers in front of it, like she said. When you sort, or it automatically sorted it, numbers first. So if you know this is the folder that you always want to see on top, number one, you can name the next one number two. Here, I'm going to create one more folder. New folder. We'll call this one finance. Let's say I'm name that one number two. Type into finance and create. Yeah, so I'm going to sort it. Well, actually, it looks like it just sorts the emojis first. Then it sorts folders by number. Mm-hmm. One more way for folders or for files that you know you want to see all the time, that you use all the time. We touched on this. Star it. Form for intake. That's probably a form that I would use, a form that I use often because I'm assuming I'm having a lot of clients. I'm going to add a star to it. You know what? I'm going to right click to be consistent. Right click and organize. This organize menu item is useful for giving some pop to your files or your folders so you can find them easier. So this is where you would be looking for these tools to change the colors for folders and to star them. I'm going to add to start. So it has a little star next to it now. If I go on this navigation section on the left and click starred, anything that I star will show up in that section. So it's a shortcut kind of area. Any questions? Lastly, see, we did colors. I want to show you one more thing that can be useful, and that's creating a shortcut. Let's go back to my drive. I have let's say I have a file that I want to show up in 2 places on my Google Drive. This this niche plan. This plan, I'm using this plan. I want it to be in my video drive because I want it to keep referencing it as I'm deciding what videos to make, but I also want it to be in my marketing folder. You don't want to copy it because if you make changes to one, it doesn't make changes to the other. But I can create a shortcut so I have it in 2 places. It's not in 2 places. I have a shadow of it pointing to the original. This niche plan, I'm going to move this into, let's see, I'm going to move it into the marketing folder. Right click, organize, move, and I'm going to move it to the marketing folder. Oh, notice since I also shared that marketing folder, every time I put something in there, Google will ask, hey, just checking, you know you've got this shared. And that's fine. Now I'm in the marketing folder. I double click to go into the marketing folder. I have my niche plan in here. I'm going to create a shortcut. Right click, organize, add shortcut. I'm going to add that shortcut to a different folder, to the finance folder. No, sorry, the video folder. So this is the niche plan. And it's in the marketing folder. Go back to my drive. In the video folder, it is also in the video folder, but it's a shortcut. And that little arrow over the icon is saying, this is a shortcut. This is a shadow. Because if I go ahead and open it, it's still the same file. If I'm going to make a change to this year, say 2000. Oh, this is and this is a Word doc, but I can still edit it in Google Docs, 2025. Right, so I made a change to it, 2025. Here, I'm going to make it color so we can see that change. I'm going to close that file. So I changed it from this video folder. And if I go back to the marketing folder and open up that file, it's the same file. So I can save it in a way in 2 different places, or I can reference it from 2 different places, but it's still the same file. So if I make changes, it's all the changes are saved in the same file. So this is an intro to Google Drive. Got a little more time. Are there any other questions, any deep dives, anything you want me to repeat or read?
So Tracy, yeah, the purpose of that showing up as a shortcut in the not the original file, but the alternate file. I'm trying to understand the purpose of it. If it's showing, if you work in one, it also shows in the other. What's the purpose then of indicating that that's the shortcut?
What's the purpose of it indicating it, or what's the purpose of having it?
Well, okay. At first I thought maybe it was because you wanted to find the original document.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're working in the other folder, it's still making all the changes just the same. So why do I need to know which is the original at that point?
There's only one original. And the shortcut is pointing to the original. As you do more files, you might have a need for it because there's a file that you might be working with often from 2 different places. Let's see.
Yeah, I think I get it. I think I yeah.
So, here's a better example. If I had a file, I do have a file in another drive for my video descriptions. I have descriptions for my videos and CTAs, the call to action description and call to action. So I have a file where I've got all my links that I can put in every YouTube video that I do. Every YouTube video, the description is going to be unique, but I always have at the end, go here for my email list, go here for, to set up an appointment, go here for my group. I might keep that file that I just created. I would probably keep that in the video folder, for instance, but I might also keep it in the marketing folder. because I'm working with marketing stuff, because I'm with those links that I'm working with, I have stored in my marketing folder. It's a tool that you may or may not need. But if you find you're going back and forth, or you need to find, or you're going back and forth, working with one file in two different places, having a shortcut, at least you're not creating two different files. But again, you might not have a need for it right now, but it's a tool to know about. So if you're going back and forth, it's something that you could use. But I see your question though. Yeah, and right now you might not have a need for it.
Yeah.
Does that get to what you're saying?
Yeah, it's also, I think my mind is kind of playing around with why it's the way it is, but it's not quite connecting.
Don't worry about it. It's not something that you have to use. I think some of these other things that I talked about are much more useful.
Right.
Starring a file, using the star, that's really useful for files that you use very often.
Yeah, you really helped a lot, especially in the beginning with the storage of things, when you compare it to your files at home, and the progression as your file grows, that you need bigger storage. Because I was always grappling with, why am I paying for this? For the cloud. And I'm like, I don't want to store it on the cloud because I don't want to pay any money. But now I'm seeing it. We collect a lot of junk. Oh, it's time to go through them.
Yeah, and delete. There's more than one way to store it. So cloud storage could be a way. You could buy another hard drive, another USB drive, and use it just on your computer at home. You can buy huge USB drives that are, terabytes large. Mm-hmm. So I guess it kind of goes to what's more convenient for you. Mm-hmm. I go ahead and pay for cloud storage for $2 a month. It's worth it to me, because I do like using the different identities, using the different Gmail, Google accounts. And it sounds like you're doing that too.
Yeah, it makes sense now. Whereas before, I fought with it because I didn't understand it.
Okay. I think this is a great tool, and I really want people to understand it, so they are organizing, you're able to organize and find your stuff. So in this workshop, we just went through Google Drive, decluttering it and organizing it. But I know in real life, tech questions just don't wait for a workshop to happen. That's why I created my school community, the Confident Click. Think of it as a personal tech help desk. Anytime you're stuck, just drop a question in. I will answer it there in the comments, or make a video, or address it in one of our live sessions, or work with you one-on-one. Don't wrestle with Google Drive or any other tech question by yourself. Come join the community. The link is below. Let's get you unstuck fast.